So we've had a lot of requests for us to make a video tutorial on how we made our raised beds. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how we made them, what materials we used, and why we chose to do raised beds. We decided to do raised beds because we have really sandy soil here. And sandy soil is pretty much void of nutrients for plants to grow. It was just easier for us to do raised beds than to try to continuously amend our sandy soil. We also have a lot of wildlife around here. We live in the middle of the forest and we've got tons of deer and rabbits and things like that. So raised beds offer just a little bit of extra protection against the wildlife that might come and munch on our plants. We opted to make them out of roofing metal instead of wood because they're going to last a lot longer. We do live in a tropical climate where we get a lot of rain and it's really humid, and wood just doesn't last that long, especially if it's not pressure treated. We should get about 15 years out of these beds, hopefully, before we have to do any major replacements. We will have to replace the top wooden frame probably every 5 years or so, but those just screw in and it'll be really easy to do, so I'm not worried about it. We did use pressure treated 4x4s in the corners because we didn't want to have to replace them, because that would mean digging out the soil to replace those 4x4s, and they don't make that much soil contact. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
This here's your material and cut list. You're going to need a miter saw, sawzall, tin snips, and your handy dandy screw gun. We'll make sure we put all this, as well as the hardware used for assembly, in the description. After making all of our cuts, we loaded the material and headed off to the garden for assembly. Once we got everything unloaded, we assembled the long sides of the beds by attaching the 8-foot roofing sheets to the 4x4 corner posts.
We then attached the short sides to the corner posts and added the center 4x4 using our 1 1/4 inch roofing screws.
Once we had the boxes assembled, we moved them into the garden and put them in their final resting place.
Once in place, we hammered the pieces of metal conduit into the ground on the outside of the beds to prevent the metal from bowing out with the weight of the soil. The conduit should be hammered in to a height that is slightly taller than the edge of the corrugated metal, as this is what the top frame will sit on.
Finally, we assembled the top frame, securing them to the 4x4 posts with 3.5 inch deck screws.
There you have it. These raised beds are super simple to build and should last for many years. Now it's time to fill with soil, plant, and enjoy.